GM, everyone. This is Dr. Josh. I'm here with Robert Pasiko from the United Nations Development Program. I'm super excited to have somebody from the UNDP on Crypto Mondays, Crypto Mondays Global, especially because this is our global edition of Crypto Mondays. If you're new to Crypto Mondays, make sure to look in your own city to find Crypto Mondays and what you're doing. I just saw Robert talk here in this beautiful building in the Vienna University, Vienna Business University campus at Austrian Blockchain Week. He was a keynote speaker and talking about what they're doing at the United Nations Development Program with NFTs, blockchain, things like that. Great to have you here, Robert.
Thank you, Josh. Great to be with you as well.
Great. Okay, well, first of all, blockchain industry, crypto, we're all about community and things like that. How did you get into this role at the United Nations and heading up the initiatives in the blockchain Web3 space?
Yeah, so actually 10 years ago we did our first alternative finance conference, which got a huge attention. Like, we had people from over 40 countries, and based on that we established our alternative finance lab, and since then started playing more with bonds, with blockchain, with cryptocurrencies, and just to investigate what is there to do for development. For country offices, we have colleagues in 170 country offices who are supporting governments, and the governments are starting with the question, okay, we have problems. Can blockchain solve some of these problems? And this is where we try to fill this gap and to provide some answers and to create some community inside the organization, but also outside. Working now with over 10 different blockchain organizations, foundations, to fill this gap and to make blockchain becoming mainstream in development.
Okay, so one of the projects, you said there's 10 different projects. I'm assuming these are with the different foundations related to Ethereum, Polygon, things like that. And Algorand was mentioned today, and you were talking about this capacity building in the sense of the United Nations' own employees learning about blockchain education. Can you tell us about this program and what's happening with this blockchain education within the United Nations?
Yes. From where we sit, we can see that blockchain is still, if you talk with the random employees with UN or with governments, they still see blockchain as something which is only Bitcoin investment bubble, and because most of this blockchain real work is still in a very small nascent stage, and there is no so much impact yet visible. So we said, okay, we need to change this, right? We need to, if we want our people to support governments and to propose some solutions which are decentralized, which are based on blockchain, they need to know more about this. And this is where we started working with Algorand on the first iteration, which we just finished beta testing of the Blockchain Academy, and now also opening it with other blockchain organizations to hear from their side, like with Solana, with Polygon, and so on, to add more elements to this, so that our colleagues know exactly what is blockchain, in which cases to use it, in which not. In new iteration of Blockchain Academy, in the next few months, we will have it open for all employees of UN, which is over 120,000 employees, but also to the NGOs with whom we work, with some of the social entrepreneurs, so that we all come to the same level of knowledge, right? So we don't have to lose additional 5 years in misconceptions.
Yeah.
And like what is this or what is not, and like what is NFT? This is just some bullshit, or is there a value? And then, but the point is also, information is not enough, right? Training is not enough.
Right.
Our goal is that out of this training, we actually find some ideas that we can then bring. We can bring some care to these ideas and really make some cases, some good use cases, which we can replicate either to different places, either to scale them up in what they are. So whether this is based on digital payments, whether this is based on NFTs, on digital identity, or like many other use cases that we found so far. But we also want it to be bottom up, right? We also want it to be decentralized, not to have a guy in UN who says from now on in blockchain we will just work on one topic or two topics, right? So just completely breaking this way of thinking, right?
And also inclusive. And so it seems like you're taking an inclusive approach.
Yes.
Yeah. Now tell me about that. I mean, in the sense of, now let's assume that everybody gets on board and wants to learn about blockchain and understands it and understands the use cases, what it's good for, what it's not good for. What are some of the early attempts within the United Nations Development Program that you're already working on? What are some of the projects you're already working on that you can show as use cases or to these different employees of, oh, this is one of the ways that it could work, or that's one of the ways it could work? Could you tell us just briefly about a couple use cases you're already looking at? Yeah.
So now we have really use cases, maybe 15 different smaller pilot projects, where some of them were super successful, some of them we can say maybe they were not successful, but at least we learned what needs to be done in the next phase, right, to make it. Like maybe we based it on the wrong technology. Yeah. Maybe we have chosen the wrong partners, but at least in each one of these, I would say this is early investigations and we learned a lot. Some of the really promising directions is, one of them is track and trace, where we can, very often, so half of the globe actually gets funded from agricultural services. Half of the globe lives from agriculture. But then, if they are making a prime product, they can make good money and live a nice life, provide good education for their kids. But if they are able only to sell it very cheap to some industrial bulk, then they can barely make the ends meet, right? So this is where track and trace, and for example, knowing that this coffee that you bought is really produced from that part, from that farmer, which his picture you can see, you can contact him if you want, and then you know that a huge percentage of this of what you spend on this coffee actually ends up in his pocket, and he will use it for education of his kids or something, and part of the money will be maybe used for the school. This is completely changing how agriculture and how their lives are, right? And now we have excellent use cases from first mile to last mile, which show that this is something which can be replicable. Otherwise, and then it doesn't matter if it is the coffee in Ecuador, is it argan oil in Morocco, is it something else anywhere else in the world, but this is the way to go. Another thing is digital payments. Digital payments is, and digital payments based on blockchain, what is the wonderful thing, they don't have to be based on smartphones, because most of the world still doesn't have smartphones. So they can be also based on old text messages. And now we want to replicate something that one company, Hesapay in Afghanistan, which is based on Algorand, is already doing very well. We want to replicate this and see how to replicate this in several more countries, mainly in Arab countries, which are crisis countries, conflict situations, banking system is not there or is not there good enough. One of the use cases is also providing digital IDs to people.
Of course.
There is still over 1 billion people who don't have their own identity, which means, from one side, they cannot vote, right? So they are left out. They cannot use any governmental services. They don't have any retirement revenues, any health, nothing. They're completely left out. Over 1 billion people. So I personally, from everything that we have seen, I think that this is one of the top issues where more attention is needed, because if you don't exist, how can you actually provide anything, and how can you become a part of this community, and how can we talk about internet connection if this person even doesn't exist? I would say that this is maybe even higher level of need than electricity, right? Because also electricity, it's like you can live in a cave, but like if you don't exist, what does it mean? Maybe not for you, one of you as a person, but we talk about over 1 billion people.
Yeah, and we're talking about this idea of meaning in life and being part of a community, feeling like you're part of that community. And what you're saying is that the digital identity solution that blockchain provides is one very promising direction for that. You know, this idea of learned helplessness. I heard the other day, and this makes me think of what's that's what's passionate. But you're passionate about is giving these people identity, giving these people a voice. Great. And so, last thing I want to ask you, because I really appreciate your time, Robert, is like, let's say that, you know, in Crypto Mondays, there's a lot of people that are founders that come to our events, and a lot of people that have different initiatives. A lot of people are trying to do social good. I'm just on my way to London next week to discuss things with Divya Pranasheth and then also Earth Cubs, which serves 10,000 teachers around the world. I mean, if people want to get involved with the UNDP as a partner, or in any way related to the Blockchain Academy or something, what's the next step for an organization, whether it's a startup or nonprofit, want to get in touch or involved with what you guys are doing?
Yes. So for us, it's very important to work on two different levels in parallel. One is to build up community within our organization that is willing to explore more on blockchain and crypto and to find good use cases. But from another side, we need a strong ecosystem around us. So, and we cannot go to some locked-in, limited ecosystems, but we needed open source. We needed something. We need people who are ready to share, people who are ready to contribute to all of this.
Open source in that direction.
Yeah. So I would say there are so many problems that blockchain can help with. And there is not a single company or organization which can even do 10% of this today, at the stage where we are now. I would say today we are with blockchain, we are where Tesla was 12 years ago, when they started putting everything open source, like all the designs, because they just said, we need more companies producing electric cars, right? Now, today in Europe, we have over 400 different electrical vehicles models being sold on the market. But 12 years ago, we had only Tesla. So, and I know that several years from now, we will have hundreds of different strong use cases. It will be a no-brainer which one to use. But from where we are now, we are still very limited, and we need to grow here jointly. So I would say Alternative Finance Lab, Altfin Lab in UNDP is the address, especially if you have some solutions which can serve underprivileged. If you have any ideas, like something which can work for some African communities or Arab states, Central Asia, Latin America, these are main regions where we are active, not limited to this. We also know that, for example, 21% of people in North America don't have a bank account, right? So unbanked. So what we talk about, it's not only something which is limited to certain regions of the world, but it's really, when we talk about underprivileged, we can find them everywhere, right? And can this technology bring solutions? We know it can. But we don't know what are the solutions out there. So if you have some of them, please share it with us, and let's see how to plug it in, how to make it happen.
All right, man. You see, there's really positive movement from the United Nations Development Program here. Robert, he's an expert. He's passionate. He knows about what he's talking about. Alternative Finance Lab, check it out. And thanks a lot for coming on here on Crypto Mondays Global, man. I appreciate it.